Okay, picture this. You've got a majestic, six-tusked white elephant. It is this creature of just unimaginable power and absolute purity. Now, imagine this incredible animal is struck by a hunter's poisoned arrows. Instead of feeling rage or, a desire for revenge, it looks down at the hunter and feels nothing but profound pity. This striking analogy comes to us straight from the ancient text we're analyzing today, the Mahaprajnaparamita Sastra. It's just a perfect encapsulation of the radical, almost unbelievable compassion of a bodhisattva. Before we even get into the mechanics of how these spiritual masters operate, I really wanted to plant that image in your mind. Because this level of selfless compassion, it's not just some lofty ideal, it's literally the engine driving the profound spiritual journey we are about to unpack.
Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're exploring the Bodhisattva's ascent. We're going to map out an incredibly intricate sequence of spiritual practice called Prajnaparamita, or the perfection of wisdom. It's this amazing bridge between deep, solitary meditation and ultimate cosmic purity. Based on the profound Dazi Dulun, we're going to analyze exactly how a bodhisattva maneuvers through different states of mind, and crucially, how they completely purify their everyday actions. We'll see exactly how they handle the karma of their body, speech, and mind to achieve true purity through the realization of emptiness. It's a brilliant paradox, and we're going to break the whole thing down.
So, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Deep meditation. 2. Radical compassion. 3. Purifying karma. 4. The secret of non-attachment. And 5. The ultimate 5 eyes.
Section 1. Deep meditation, the foundation of the path.
Right, so everything a bodhisattva does is anchored by their extraordinary meditative powers. But listen, they don't just meditate like a beginner trying to calm their breathing. They navigate consciousness with a level of mastery that is basically off the charts. The text describes this fascinating concept known as skipping samadhi. Think of it like this. Normal practitioners, they have to walk up the stairs of meditation one single step at a time. But a bodhisattva, they can enter the first jhana, which is a foundational state of concentration, and then just leap directly to the absolute highest state, the samadhi of extinction. And they can bounce back and forth between these realms like it's nothing. The text explicitly asks, well, how is this skipping even possible? The answer is that bodhisattvas possess such immense merit and utterly unattached minds that they aren't weighed down by the gravity of these states. They effortlessly leap across profound states of consciousness simply because they aren't clinging to any of them.
Section 2. Radical compassion, action in the world.
Now, all that inner meditative stillness, it actually translates into massive outward action. The bodhisattva doesn't just hang out in that blissful samadhi of extinction. They take that power and turn it straight toward the world. The text makes a really sharp contrast here. The traditional arhat path, which focuses on individual liberation, is strictly about escaping the cycle of rebirth and avoiding the suffering of the 3 evil realms, like the hell realms. But the bodhisattva's path, that operates on that six-tusked elephant level of compassion we talked about. A bodhisattva actively delays their own final peace. They willingly, deliberately plunge straight into those suffering realms to pull others out. The text specifically points out that this level of compassionate worldly action is something the arhat simply doesn't possess. To actually pull this off, they use what the text calls skillful means. Basically, they adapt to whatever suffering beings need at that exact moment. If society needs righteous leadership, the bodhisattva might manifest as a wheel-turning king, coming in to establish order and promote good deeds. Or if beings are trapped in the absolute darkest, fiery agony of the hell realms, the bodhisattva might actually transform their appearance into a radiant Buddha, right there in the flames. The text paints this vivid, almost cinematic picture of a bodhisattva using unbelievable power to quench the fires of hell, pacify these terrifying guards, and emit this golden light so that beings in total agony can finally experience a moment of peace and hear the Dharma. I mean, it's outward action that literally alters the fabric of the universe.
Section 3. Purifying karma, the turning point.
This brings us to a really critical, practical juncture on the path. How on earth do they do all this without getting totally tangled up in the very world they're trying to save? Even Sariputra, who is known as the wisest of the Buddha's disciples, actually gets confused here in the text. He asked the Buddha directly, how does a bodhisattva completely remove the rough karma, the sins and negative karmic baggage generated by physical acts, by words, and by thoughts? Because in traditional thinking, even doing good deeds creates karmic ripples that bind you to the cycle of rebirth. So how does a bodhisattva act so massively in the world while keeping their 3 karmas of body, speech, and mind perfectly, spotlessly clean? Take a second to think about how you might answer that.
Section 4. The secret of non-attachment, the paradoxical truth.
Okay, so the Buddha's answer to Sariputra is essentially the philosophical heartbeat of the entire Prajnaparamita. It brilliantly illustrates the core secret of Mahayana philosophy. The answer to perfect purity is a stunning paradox. If a bodhisattva thinks to themselves, "This is my body acting, this is my speech, this is my mind," they are instantly committing a subtle sin. Ultimate purity doesn't just mean doing good things. It means, and I quote, "Do not apprehend body, do not apprehend speech, do not apprehend mind." In plain terms, do not grasp at them as solid, permanent things. So the absolute crucial point here is that true purity is the radical act of entirely letting go of the concept of a self that acts. If you think you're the big hero saving the day, well, your karma is still rough.
Let's break down exactly why clinging creates this sin or rough karma. First off, if you see a self performing an action, it inherently breeds pride. You start thinking, wow, I'm so generous, I'm so moral. Second, grasping at the concept of your own good deeds creates a subtle attachment to future rewards. You subconsciously want a pat on the back, whether that's right now or in your next life. The text explains that having a sense of a maker of the action or a viewer of the action is a complete delusion. But if you view your actions as fundamentally empty, meaning they just arise from causes and conditions without some permanent ego driving the bus, you dissolve greed, anger, and ignorance at their very root.
This means the bodhisattva operates on a sort of dual track. They practice the 6 paramitas, boundless charity, perfect morality, endless patience, the whole shebang, absolutely flawlessly. They are out there doing the really hard work. But internally, they maintain a mind that rests in ultimate emptiness. They practice charity while entirely not apprehending the charity. They don't see a giver, a receiver, or a gift as solid, absolute things. They do everything, yet they grasp at absolutely nothing. And that is exactly how the 3 karmas of body, speech, and mind are genuinely purified.
Section 5. The ultimate 5 eyes, the result of true purity. When you continuously perform actions while resting in that state of emptiness, your very perception of reality evolves. You develop what the text calls the 5 eyes. It's a majestic evolution of a bodhisattva's vision. They start with the physical eye, which, through immense merit, gets purified to the point where they can see vast distances, like across thousands of realms. Then they level up to the heavenly eye. This allows them to perceive the intricate karmic cycles of birth and death for beings everywhere, completely unblocked by physical obstacles. But the most profound shift? That happens in phase 3, the wisdom eye. This is where the purification of karma and that deep understanding of emptiness truly coalesce into a totally new way of seeing the universe.
The wisdom eye is just fascinating. The text says a bodhisattva with the wisdom eye does not make binary distinctions. They don't look at the world and say this is worldly versus this is transcendent, or this is permanent versus this is impermanent. Because they aren't fixating on these worldly illusions or conceptual extremes, they perceive the true, absolute emptiness of the world. Yet, and here's the crazy part, the text states that with this eye, there is nothing they do not see, nothing they do not hear, know, or recognize. By letting go of all distorted concepts, they actually perceive the pure nature of the cosmos perfectly.
So, tying it all together, this sequence encapsulates the complete practice of Prajnaparamita. The Bodhisattva's journey rests on a dual foundation: meditation deep enough to literally leap across consciousness, paired with the radical compassion of that 6-tusked elephant we started with. This drives them to action, using boundless skillful means to save beings, even down in the hell realms. But the method, the crucial mechanism that protects them, is dealing with their body, speech, and mind through complete non-attachment. By recognizing the emptiness of their own actions, they purify their karma entirely. And the ultimate result? The blooming of the purified 5 eyes, culminating in a wisdom eye that sees reality exactly as it is.
We've covered some immense cosmic philosophy today in this explainer. But let's bring this right down to earth before we wrap up. The text challenges us with a really tough idea. Doing good simply isn't enough if our ego is secretly taking the credit. So ask yourself, if true purity comes from forgetting the self that acts, what subtle attachments, what hidden desires for recognition or pride are secretly coloring your own good deeds today? It's a profound thought to carry with you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning and keep learning.